That's why we're laughing every time
Because
it comes on. Good morning. Ooh, it's chilly this morning.
It's cold.
28.
Chilly my foot. Did your grandma do that? Like say my foot after something that...
She would say, "Oh foot."
My
Like,
grandma used to say that too. She would do something like, "Oh foot."
oh no, she did it with it. She thought it was funny. Oh foot.
No, my grandma did it like if she did something wrong or she made a mistake. She would be like, "Oh foot," like, "Oh shoot."
That's so funny. Did anybody else's grandma say, "Oh foot"?
Or she would like,
but
but I was
close to the
asking like
camera.
where she would go. Like you said, what?
I feel like I'm very close to the
You say
camera.
that every week since we moved it up. Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
But no, she would like if I'm like I'm tired, and she would be like, "Tired my foot." What are you doing?
I was gonna, you ever like have the remote and somebody's trying to turn it down and you have another remote, and that's what I was gonna do is turn it up while you were trying to turn it down.
Be Aggie. You're so Aggie.
Is that aggravating?
Yeah, that's my kid saying Aggie.
Aww.
You're so Aggie.
Did anybody else's grandma say, "Oh foot"?
That's what I want to know too.
Hilarious.
Yeah, she did. She would say, "Oh foot."
Awesome. Well, good Saturday morning. Snowy Saturday here in Ohio.
I feel like I look a mess. Woo! Hey, Kia.
Good morning. So,
hold on, I'm coming in so I can see the comments y'all are making because I don't have on glasses or contacts.
Oh,
so hang on. Right, I'm grown.
I'm glad you're not driving.
Right. I'm glad I'm not driving too.
Okay. It feels like. Well, let me just say for those of you that don't know, I'm Kat.
Oh, and I'm Brenda.
And this is The Drive.
We found out a few weeks ago that we don't introduce ourselves for the newbies.
Yeah.
We'll get better. We promise.
Yeah. So what do we do on this show, Brenda?
We tackle tough topics.
With seriousness and shenanigans.
We do.
That wasn't even rehearsed. Maybe we should do that every time. That car is coming up. Do you guys see that back there? Coming up really fast on my behind.
I'm glad I'm not driving. Y'all will get to see my road rage.
I did find it. I had a Bitmoji that was, it was like me yelling at someone. And I was like, oh, that would be funny. Except for that I don't really. And he was turning into Acme. That's where he was in that much of a hurry. Yeah, right.
Like it won't be open all day.
Well, you know what? I bet it's. They went in the back one. I bet they had to work at 9. But that's what it was.
That's the HR manager, the recovering HR manager. Like, oh, you're late to work, aren't you?
Yep, that's what that is. That's what just happened there.
Morning, Jennifer.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah. So that's what we do. Seriousness and shenanigans. So these are topics. Sometimes we cry even. I don't know if I've cried yet. Have I cried?
Yes. You cried first.
I did?
I can't remember why. But yeah, you cried first. I've just cried ever since. You opened the floodgates.
Yeah. Well, I'm driving, so I probably shouldn't be crying.
I agree.
Although I have driven and cried before.
So today, we are tackling a really tough. Can y'all tell we're nervous about today? I'm nervous about today.
I'm not sure if nervous is the, like, I told you before, like, it's like anxious. It's not nervous-skited. It's, I think anytime you share something authentically about yourself that you could be somewhat judged for.
Yes.
It is, at least for me, even though I don't care what anybody thinks. No, that's not true. I do care what people think. But it's that, well, first of all, we're putting this out here for people to
watch and see,
to watch and judge and look, and it could affect things about people deciding to do business with us even.
Oh,
so,
I didn't even think about that.
Oh, I think about that all the time.
Do you?
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna be looking forward to talking about that on next week's topic.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you have to. It's something for me that I'm mindful of. Maybe that's a better way to say it.
Probably should
Not
be
thinking
more
about
mindful of it. I think and I'm purposefully shoulding. Like I think that's something I should be more mindful of, and I'm not.
We're in the Starbucks line, you guys. We did not get it ahead of time, also purposely. But I'm mindful of that. So anytime I'm sharing something that I think someone who doesn't understand what we're doing or why we're doing it might judge in a way that could affect our business, that's something that
And you know what? I'm wrong. It's not that I'm not mindful of it. It's that I don't want to say that I don't care, but I kind of go, this is me. This is often I was going to say authentically.
Let's make that a word. Let's submit it to Webster.
This is authentically who I am, and anybody who would judge me for it, I don't want to do business with. But that isn't necessarily right or fair, but it's not wrong. But you know what I'm saying? It's something that I need to, I think, reevaluate, be a little bit more cognizant of, especially since my business affects you and your business.
That's right. No.
Yeah.
No, but I do think that when people judge, one of the things that I'm really, for the last several years, have worked on is not being judgmental of judgmental people. Understanding that's
so you don't want to be judgmental.
I do not want to be judgmental. I don't want to be judgmental of anyone, myself or anyone else.
Because that's you always say that's a little hypocritical, to be judgmental of judgmental people because you're not judgmental.
So to say that people don't have a right to form their opinions of us and make decisions off of that, to me is a little like
comfortable.
Oh man, do you want to lean the seat back? Do you want a pillow? Do you want me to feed you grapes?
Yes.
I'm going to get you coffee, okay?
Yes, I need coffee. I haven't had coffee yet today.
I had coffee. I sent out all those texts this morning.
I just rolled out of bed like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah. All right, so let's get this going.
We're procrastinating and avoiding. Can you guys tell?
Yeah, so what are we talking about? Why are we so procrastinating on? We should have put...
Ooh, procrastinating!
With another
P. Okay. So today we're talking about perfectionism, parenting, pickles and peanuts.
Do we talk about the pickles and peanuts first?
We will. It was clickbait, guys. It kind of was, though.
A little bit, because we talked about it. We were like, we need another P word. And then we have this thing lately that we eat pickles and peanuts.
It's so good, guys.
It happened by accident.
Pickles, it did. We wanted to get something. We were both doing keto, or are both kind of low carb.
No, I wasn't. There was just nothing to... I'm doing low carb now.
Right.
Down 15 pounds, guys. Yay.
Oh, yeah. Yay.
Okay.
But we were looking for something to eat that was low carb. There wasn't really anything that we wanted at the office, so we went down to like this. There's a store that
you those Amazon stores.
Right, like an Amazon store where you go in and you kind of serve yourself.
I have
and
an online order for cat with a K.
Sorry, and you get it yourself and you pay yourself and do all that.
Yeah,
you get it yourself and you pay yourself.
And your other Americano?
That's right.
All right, I'll have this down here for you. Thank you.
I mean, you don't pay yourself, but you pay on your own. Like, there's no cashier. Okay, I saw where you go. Okay. But, so we went down there, and there was really nothing in there. We kept picking up stuff, and I was reading packages, and I'm like, this has too many carbs. This has too many carbs. And Kat was like, do they have pickles down here? So we got pickles, and we got peanuts, because there were no carbs.
And it actually is a really good combination.
Oh, my God.
And I can eat it all the time.
Yes, and I have been getting it, like, when I'm at home. Now, when I go grocery shopping, now I'm on these pickle chips. Have you seen the pickle chips?
You showed those to me. They're
so crunchy and so good.
But they are in a bag.
Yeah, and they're cold, but they're just like...
Because I thought they were like dehydrated pickle chips, like potato
they're regular
chips.
They're really just gherkins that somebody sliced thick, and they're really crunchy. It's good. But they're only $1.
Yeah.
But I get those, and I get peanuts. But anyway, so that's where the pickles and peanuts came from.
Yeah, that's it. We like pickles and peanuts, and we would love for you to join us in eating pickles and peanuts.
So go get get
and maybe hashtag
it.
The big one,
like
with the
big
juice.
Oh.
We actually recycled the juice.
We did with tequila.
We did.
We made it anyway.
Yes.
Yeah, we made a really good drink with the juice.
Did. What did we call it? Oh,
don't say what we call it.
Yes, thanks.
We can't tell you guys. Inbox us and we'll tell you what we named it.
Yeah. What's that?
Would you like stoppers?
No.
No, thank you.
We're doing a show here, Katrina.
Sorry. Thank you so much.
Stop talking to the Starbucks lady.
Thanks.
Sorry, guys.
Try to be nice.
You can't be nice. We're doing a show.
I don't have time to be nice.
This is yours.
This is the one thing that we don't do alike.
Right.
And I don't want to change.
Vastly different.
But we realized this week we're sort of, again, we realized that we're sort of morphing into each other at times.
We are.
And we were kind of yin and yang this week, where you were more my evil side, not evil, but and I was more yours.
Yes, it was awesome.
It was awesome. I liked
really
it.
awesome.
I liked being you for a minute.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Okay, so that's the peanuts, and we're still procrastinating.
We are. We're still procrastinating about pickles and peanuts.
No, we're procrastinating about perfectionism and parenting.
We're using pickles and peanuts to procrastinate about parenting and perfectionism.
Okay, so...
Sheesh!
It's not, you should have waited.
I'm going to be like that lady who sued Starbucks because her coffee was too hot. Have you ever seen that?
There's a warning on that. Not Starbucks, it was McDonald's, wasn't it?
Was it McDonald's? Okay.
Yeah, but you know what? I will say, we did a little study on that.
Coffee.
She had like 3rd-degree burns, like, in her nether regions. Because she put it, like, down there and the lid fell off.
I just scolded my mouth. But
yeah,
anyway,
and it'll burn for a long time.
We're still
I'm in the
procrastinating.
turn-only lane. I'm going to go ahead and turn.
Okay. Whew. Parenting and perfectionism.
Which one do we talk about first?
Well, parenting, I think it'll lead into...
Okay.
Because I think the perfectionism is why we're struggling, for lack of a better word.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know. I just said this morning to someone, I'm like, I don't want to use the word struggling.
I know. I've been trying to be really mindful to not use it.
I struggle to not use the word struggle.
I can't with you. Okay. So, both of us had instances this week to where okay, no filter. I'm not going to filter because I'm trying to filter, and that's what's creating an issue. To where we had issues with parenting, to where we realized that there are some areas that we feel as though we may be coming up short, but in conversations with other people, we're kind of realizing maybe not. So I don't know. We're just going to talk through it on the show today. Yeah. Because we haven't really talked in detail about it. So we're just going to talk about it on the show today. We identified perfectionism as a possible root for the struggles that we're having when it comes to parenting. So what you guys are getting today is just going to be kind of a raw look into us having a conversation and figuring out exactly where this is coming from and see what we can do. Yeah, that's a lot. It is. You want to start? Yes. All right. So some of you may have seen the post that I put up, and I actually took it back down for several reasons. I don't like to air my dirty laundry. I'm really careful about what I post. I try to keep things positive. But I had a situation, and I don't know that I necessarily, and I may end up sharing what it was, but where my son was demonstrating some perfectionism. And gosh, I feel like I have to tell if I'm gonna be authentic with this stuff. So if you guys notice us struggling, it's so funny because part of this with that perfectionism, what we noticed is that there is also we're also struggling with the difference between authenticity and oversharing. So that's going to be next week's episode. So you guys might notice us struggling a little bit more this week than what we usually do. Because that, I think for me, that's very fresh in my mind. So I'm like, am I oversharing? Is this too much? Is it? So if you notice us struggling a little bit, just hang in there. So for me, it isn't as much that I'm oversharing. It's that I'm sharing something that's not mine to share. Oh, so it's that's his thing. I get that. And I had a good friend who asked me this week. He said, "Does Trevor mind you sharing what you're sharing?" And I'm like, I don't think so. And then it made me like, you know what? Let's have an actual conversation about it. Did you ask him? Yeah. And I said, I posted this thing on the cookies and Angie's cupcakes, by the way, in Angola. If you guys are watching, they're amazing. And I got these cookie things from her. That's like a cookie kit. And I said, you can give it to your girlfriend. I said, you can eat them if you want, or you can give it to your girlfriend. And he's like, I'm just going to go ahead and decorate one a day. Well, I thought that was sweet. Really, the reason if I'm being completely authentic here, the real reason I posted that was because I wanted to advertise for Angie. Right. And, she's a good friend of mine. Her cupcakes are amazing. Her cookies are amazing. Did you hear me have to swallow? I did. Your mouth started watering. Like, oh my God, it's great cupcakes. So good. Great cookies and cupcakes. Oh my God. Jeez, Angie, what are you doing to cat here? I know. So that's why I did it. But I noticed a lot of times my intent doesn't come through. So everybody was like, oh, he's so sweet. He's so sweet. He's so sweet. It actually wasn't about him. It was about Angie's cupcakes. But I realized that that's not how it came across. So, and I appreciated the friend asked me if he
minded.
Morning, Lisa.
And I told Trevor, I said, there's a lot of things I don't post because, I mean, you know about his accolades and some of the things that he's gotten.
So what did he say? Does he mind you
He doesn't mind me sharing. Well, I'll just say one of the things, he got into Akron School of the Arts. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I don't care about the arts, like that kind of stuff. I don't mind you sharing that kind of stuff.
I know that?
That he got into the Akron School of the Arts?
I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. He does so much, and I get I'm like, what? Is that something that I already know, or is that something new?
Well, yeah. So, he said, we'll just say he does well academically, and he does not necessarily want me sharing that.
Okay.
So, I want to honor that.
Okay. So what about more personal things, like we're talking about today?
He doesn't care.
Oh,
That's
okay.
fine. And especially if he knows that we're helping people with it, that doesn't bother him at all.
Right. Okay.
So
that's good.
Yeah, so I think that's important, and maybe that's something, I think we're going to talk about the authenticity versus oversharing and knowing whether it's yours to share and where those lines are. So I'm going to be somewhat vague on it, and I'll just say that he was being hard on himself about some grades.
Yes.
So,
that's good.
And I was, to me, somebody who, it kind of struggled in school. I mean, I did really well on tests. I just didn't do my homework. And then when it came to math, I definitely struggled. And that's the area that he does very well in.
Yeah, because we don't struggle at all with math anymore.
Yeah. So.
That was sarcasm, people.
Yeah. So that, me doing those lip things, that was, I don't know, but it was fun. It was really fun. So, yeah, and I wouldn't say he was like beating himself up, but I saw that perfectionism, and I've seen it manifest in other ways that really stress him out. Mm-hmm. So I was just kind of mindful of it, and I thought, well, I'll post and ask some people what they think. And there are a couple of people that I really respect, because I know, and not that I don't respect everyone that was on there, but that I'm going to, like, one I had an actual phone call with about it, and we implemented a few things. A lot of people know we do gratitude every night, and we say what 3 things we're grateful for throughout the day. And we've added what are you proud of, mm-hmm. and what did you do nice for someone else.
I added that last night after you told me that you guys added it. And that was kind of cool.
And it was and the purpose behind that was that, what are you proud of? It's going to help me see. So gratitude helps me see what's important to him. I mean, obviously it's rewiring, not obviously, but it's rewiring his brain to have an attitude of gratitude. I mean, we know that right. happens. But the other part of that is he, it shows me what's important to him. So if he's like, I'm grateful that we sat down tonight for dinner, then I know okay, that's really important to him.
That's important to him.
And so now I'm like, what are you proud of? That'll help me see, and it will help him see that he is more than his achievements. Like, I don't want him to base his worth on whether or not he's gotten good grades or he's done well in a performance or, any of those types of things. So, yeah. So I don't know where I'm going with that. So that's where I think I started looking at what I'm doing and how I'm modeling perfectionism, mm-hmm. and how I'm creating this. And as much as, I'm woke.
He's woker than you.
He is woker than me. We determined that twice this week.
Right.
But I am falling back into some bad habits when it comes to,
When it comes to perfectionism?
When it comes to perfectionism. Thank you. I almost didn't finish that sentence, didn't I?
You almost didn't.
Yeah, and you kind of pulled me out of the trenches this week, because I was...
Hey! I was helpful.
You were. You were, very much so. So that's where my parenting thing is coming in, that I'm concerned, and it's interesting. I'm part of a group, and I've mentioned this before. If any adults have ADHD, I highly, 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 highly recommend ADHD Rewired. But I'm part of this group, and we were talking about one of the things that came up, and I don't know if it was this week or last or what it was, but some of the guilt that we feel around potentially passing this disorder on to our kids. Right. Trevor's neurotypical. So, but there's some parenting guilt that comes when you see your kids struggle with the same things you struggle with.
Yes.
And especially for me, the reason it was so, because I feel like some people were like, kind of flip it about it. Mm-hmm. it caused my perfectionism caused me to be suicidal.
Right.
That's why it is such a big deal for me that I can't just be like, oh yeah, whatever, it's all right, get over it. No, I mean, I can, absolutely I can.
It's not, that doesn't work for you, and that's not the direction you want to go in.
It's not easy for me to do that.
But that kind of leads into my struggle this week. I'm not going to say which kid. I got 4, so have fun trying to guess. But one of my kids, I recognize that he's been really struggling. I just nailed it down to 2. But one of my kids has been struggling really bad with like anxiety, and I don't know. It seemed like it was getting a little excessive, and I saw a lot.
Those signs are confusing. It makes me feel like I'm going
like
the
you're
wrong
going
way.
the wrong way.
It should have an arrow.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You just got so mad.
I did.
You got heated. Jeez. But so for me, it was like watching him struggle with that, and kind of like you said, when you talk about like parenting guilt, I call it mom guilt. But the mom guilt, it was like I gave this to him. I feel like I handed anxiety on a silver platter to him, and I don't think that I was very diligent in working to prevent it, or if it was preventable, if there's something that I could have done differently, especially having experienced it myself. And I'm like, what am I doing that is not preventing? Like I should have prevented this. I should have stopped this from happening. I should have realized this was happening sooner. And what did you do to make this happen? Why weren't you more careful? Why didn't you save him?
You're
right,
you,
me. Like, why didn't you save him? Especially when nobody saved you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was mine,
but you are saving him. You're addressing it. But you felt like you didn't do it soon enough.
Right. I feel like I should have done it sooner.
You know what? And I think it's so easy for me to say, but you are. Look what you've done, and look at all this. But the fact of the matter is, as a parent, that's what I was saying to you yesterday, I logically know all of these things.
Right.
And especially with what we teach, we know it. And when you're so close to the situation, it is hard in that moment. And
Absolutely.
That's where steer really does help, and having someone outside of you, if you don't have that, or getting it down on paper, somehow getting out of your own head. And that's what I said to you yesterday. Amy is telling me,
oh yeah,
da-da-da-da-da-da.
Amy has been harassing you. So you guys hear us talking about Amy sometimes. I'm going to read some comments. I'm sorry. I've been ignoring you guys.
Yeah, and I'd love to know what you guys, what comes up for you with parenting. And, I don't even want to say parenting guilt. Now, while you're looking up that, I'd like to say, I posted something yesterday, and I honestly hadn't even thought about this episode. But I realized I got in the car and started driving home, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I got no pictures of him last night. It was literally his first performance ever in community theater.
Oh, in community theater, yeah.
And I took a picture of the set before it started, and then when they came out to do the bow, there was a bunch of teenagers and a bunch of adults. The adults came out first, and I took 2 pictures of the adults doing their bow line, and I was so excited to watch him when he came out. I didn't take any more pictures, and I left without taking any pictures. He hugged me. That was the other thing. When he saw me, he put his arms out, he smiled like this really sweet smile and hugged. And he's a typical teenager. Sometimes he does not like me.
Acknowledge you in public,
and doesn't. And I was like, oh my gosh, he's so sweet right now, and he's hugging me. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna go, because he went with his dad last night. So
I'm gonna steer that for you. Like, you were just in the moment. Like, you weren't
so
worried about your phone.
Said that
you were not worried about your phone. You were enjoying that moment.
That's what everyone said.
Oh, did they?
It was like almost
good job, everybody.
Everyone said that was not a mom fail. You were, but it goes to show that even when you do know the right way, a lot of times we get judgmental of ourselves.
Right.
And that's really where that comes from.
So let's see. Lisa said, I love those gratitude entries. I believe sharing it out loud with kids, grandkids, allow us to actually listen and hear. Yeah. That's so true.
We do it with my mom and dad when they're there.
Yes.
We did it with my grandma.
I got to do it on the computer. Kat and I were in a meeting when her and her family did gratitude. So we all did gratitude together that night. That was kind of cool. Yeah. Alicia said, hello, driving in this Northeast Ohio weather, right? It's really not that bad out anymore, though.
The roads are really good. Good job.
Oh, yeah. We don't tell them good job
people.
when they do good job enough. And we're always complaining when they don't do a good job. So good job, road people. Lisa said, exactly. When we see them experience things we went through, I believe initially we panic. However, I believe once that initial fear is there, we can move on to helping them. Right. I agree.
Yeah, and I think that's what it is. Like right now, I don't need to. It would be beneficial for me to really lean into what's going on. Mm-hmm. And I know I'm going to have a conversation with him. I actually think I might pull over. There's something I want to read to you. I haven't really told you this. I know.
I'm like, what?
I know. So, I'm not even going to tell you what it is yet, but I found it kind of researching.
You guys
what
are going to get another drive parked episode.
Yeah, we're going to have to park. And I've only read through it briefly. I haven't, so forgive me, I don't do a great job reading out loud. But I'm going to do it when we get to... Did I? No. I forgot what I was saying.
You're not going to tell me what it is?
Nope.
I hate surprises. I really suck at surprises.
I know. I don't like them either, and I usually will tell people, but... Do you want me to
I like surprises that I didn't know about, but I don't like the lead up to a surprise. Like to go, I'm going to do this for you. Do you want
me to tell you what it is?
No, I'm going to wait. No. Okay. It'll be good for the show if I wait. So I cannot like it and sit in discomfort that you caused. By the way, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
look at you.
Gonna sit in this discomfort for the good of the show.
Discomfort. All right.
I'm idling.
Yes. And I think that's what needs to happen right now, because logically I know how to steer. Mm-hmm. I think I need to idle. So for those of you that don't know, idle is sort of level 2 steering. And Brenda helped create that really with the situation that you had that was yeah, well, of course, it was unsteerable.
Oh, yeah, that's
it wasn't
when we realized that some stuff is...
It wasn't unsteerable. It was something that in the moment, because you can't... The whole thing with steer is it has to, when you're shifting, it has to be something that you feel good about and you can believe and all of that. Mm-hmm. And the stuff that you were looking to shift was like... Yeah, we asked, it was true. It was true. Helpful, and it was helpful, inspiring, necessary and kind. There was nothing wrong with what you were thinking. It was just uncomfortable. So it shows when we don't want to be uncomfortable. We're like, well, how can I think differently to make myself not uncomfortable? Yes. Or not to be uncomfortable. Well, maybe you just sit in that discomfort.
Jim said, if this is a breakup surprise, I'm never watching again. He said he's kidding. That's hilarious.
So Jim,
like YouTubers.
Actually, we talked a little bit about, he was another one that had me kind of really thinking about this stuff, about perfectionism, because, I said to him...
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Huh? Why, can we park here?
Well, I said, last time we parked here.
We didn't. We parked at,
Well, the time before the last time we parked here.
When did we park?
Don't force me to remember times and dates.
I don't think we parked. I'm going to break up with you.
I promise you. It was over there. Anyway. I'll remember. I'm going to go back and watch all the episodes until I find it. And then I'm going to be like, this is where we parked over there. And it was... Anyway.
No, we did not.
I promise you we did.
No, it was beside Acme.
We did park over there too, but we parked here before.
No, because this is my son's doctor's office.
We did.
All right. I don't think so. We're going to agree to disagree.
We are not going to agree to disagree, because I'm going to go find the episode and I'm going to show you that we did.
Okay.
I'm going to find it.
Right now?
Not right now, but I'm going to find it.
Okay. So,
you want to read something too? Oh,
yeah. So I have to find it on here, and that's the other reason I need to. So I'm gonna come off comments for a minute.
I can see them up here a little bit.
Okay. So I think I saved this last night in my photos.
Make sure where you park is well lit. Y'all, I don't have no glasses or contacts on, and now I'm trying to read comments on here. I'm not even gonna try it because y'all will get tired of me doing this.
So I did not save it, so I have to look it up.
So I'll talk while you're doing that.
Okay.
I don't know what about though. Oh, this whole parenting thing. So do you feel like, even like allowing it and sitting in it, like what is, there still have to be some kind of thoughts that are progressive and helpful. What's happening with these people? What? He got lights on his car, like he's a policeman or something.
Where, are you looking behind us?
Mm-hmm.
I think they're snow people.
Oh.
Snow removal people.
He don't have no snow removal stuff on his car?
Yeah, oh, I don't know.
And he all digging in her car. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry. That was the shit. Y'all just all like pure nosiness. That has nothing to do with me. I'm just being nosy. Oh, you found it. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I found it. Okay. But I feel like
we'll get
saying
into
something.
it. I'm wondering, well, we'll get into it. I'm going to let you read that. But I'm just trying to figure out how, because there's still, even when you're allowing and you're in that allowing point, I don't know about you, but there still have to be some thoughts that are going on that's helping me ultimately change the way that I feel. So I'm wondering if you have established any of those kind of thoughts, or if you figured that out, or no, do you need to allow first and they'll come?
I do know some that I need to shift, and they're judgmental ones of myself, because I'm really, I mean, you heard that yesterday. I'm really getting hard on myself about some things, and it's unrealistic, and I would never put it on someone else. And that's what I was going to say with Jim. I was like, oh, this was authentic, you know, the stuff that happened, and people love authenticity. And then I turn around and I'm like, oh yeah, I totally judged myself for being authentic and feeling like people were judging me. And so it is, I mean, again, it's just, I think this so proves that when you're in the moment, when it's happening to you, it is much more difficult to kind of remove yourself from it.
And I think that's good for us to remember from time to time, because I think that with steer, everything starts to feel so much easier.
Yes.
Like for me, like life is just easier, to where sometimes I have to search for empathy. Like when other people are struggling, like just steer it. Like it's you'll be fine. Yeah. And I think remembering that in those moments when you're dealing with it and when you're struggling with it, it's not as easy as it sounds, and to always be mindful of that as we're teaching, as we're showing people, as we're explaining these different concepts is super important that we remember that.
Yeah. And it does get really easy for a while. And then one of the things for me at my meditation practice has kind of, you know, I'm not as vigilant. So I'm not as grounded. We talked about, you know, that basically we need to get some, there was a word you used, but it was like systems in place. But like it was,
I forget too.
But
it was
you know,
good,
it was,
it was.
And it was one word, not systems in place, but it was basically like structure. Structure. So we just need some structure and grounding. And I'm like, okay, that, like, now I feel better and I know we're working toward that.
Hey,
so.
I'm the bomb.
You did. Okay. So this is Brene Brown, of course.
I love her.
And this is called the Wholehearted Parenting Manifesto. Okay. So this is her talking to her children. This is us talking to our children.
Okay.
Above all else, I want you to know you are loved and lovable. You will learn this from my words and actions. The lessons on love are in how I treat you and how I treat myself. I want you to engage with the world from a place of worthiness. You will learn you are worthy of love, belonging, and joy every time you see me practice self-compassion and embrace my own imperfections. We will practice courage in our family by showing up, letting ourselves be seen, and honoring vulnerability. We will share our stories of struggle and strength. There will always be room in our home for both. We will teach you compassion by practicing compassion. I was like, what is that word? Because they put it in weird things.
Like weird
We will teach you compassion by practicing compassion with ourselves first, then with each other. We will set and respect boundaries. We will honor hard work, hope, and perseverance. Rest and play will be family values as well as family practices. You will learn accountability and respect by watching me make mistakes and make amends, and by watching how I ask for what I need and talk about how I feel. I want you to know joy, so together we will practice gratitude. I want you to feel joy, so together we will learn how to be vulnerable. When uncertainty and scarcity visit, you will be able to draw from the spirit that is part of everyday life. Together we will cry and face fear and grief. I will want to take away your pain, but instead I will sit with you and teach you how to feel it. We will laugh and sing and dance and create. We will always have permission to be ourselves with each other. No matter what, you will always belong here. As you begin your wholehearted journey, the greatest gift I can give you is to live and love my whole heart and to dare greatly. I will not teach or love or show you anything perfectly, but I will let you see me, and I will always hold sacred the gift of seeing you, truly, deeply seeing you. I want to print this out and go over it with Trev.
Right. Wow. Because like, as you were reading through that, that's why I wanted to wait.
Mm-hmm.
Because as you were reading through that, a couple of revelations hit me.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly, that the areas I'm judging myself for not implementing or correcting or teaching to my son are areas that I'm very judgmental about myself about.
Yes.
And I need to fix that so that I can help him. So that's like more motivation, or not fix it, but definitely understand it. And you know what I mean?
And maybe it is, because that's same with me. And so mine is, I want to tell him I'm working on this.
And you read
Let's
that
work
really
on
good,
it together.
by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, I think that, you know, I'm going to let him know this is something I'm struggling with. And here's what, like, what better way to model how we work through things? Like, we had a teenager in one of the workshops a couple weeks ago, and I said, I'm going to let you in on a little secret, because she was asking how to, like, do certain things. And, I'm like, you know, for me, you know, I will not give an answer on how. I'll give some suggestions, and they didn't know steer yet, so it was harder to kind of use that. But I said, I want to let you in on a little secret. Like, me, your mom, this person over here, like, we don't have it all figured out yet.
Right.
And I think, you know, giving them permission to be in a place of figuring it out. Can you imagine going through your life knowing I don't have to know it all, or be, you know, I'm not getting somewhere.
Giving ourselves that same permission and that same allotment, like to go, I didn't realize that, but God, it's awesome that I do now. Like now,
right.
You know what I mean?
Right. And that's what she said at the end. I'm not going to do it perfectly. I promise you I'm not going to do it perfectly. I'm going to mess up. And that's where, you know,
I have a sucker attack. I'm trying to.
I know, sorry. So, I thought I was going to cry going through it. I really did.
You almost
like,
did.
Yeah, I got choked up a couple times.
You did. But you kept going.
I did. So, yeah, I think that,
that helped me immensely. Like, seriously.
So are you glad I had you wait?
Yeah. But no, now my mind is going like all over the place. It's like all of these, it's like a weight lifted off. Because I was super judging myself. Like, you are screwing up. And you're not just screwed up, but you're screwing them up too. Yeah. So.
And you're not. You're not. I mean, and again, it's so easy for me to see it from this perspective, but I was in the same place last week.
Right.
I am the biggest baby and crier, but for some reason when we do this, I don't cry. Look at cold-hearted snake. I want to break it.
Where did that come from?
I don't know. I want to break it down.
A cold-hearted snake?
Cold-hearted snake. Don't look into his eyes. What do they say? You know
oh my God. No, I don't.
Paula Abdul?
I know who Paula Abdul is. She's like the dancing chick, and she did a cat video. It was her and the cat. I remember.
We did a dance to it in high school.
Opposites attract. That's Paula Abdul, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know that.
I think you'd know Cold-Hearted Snake too.
Oh.
But yeah.
You're annoying. You make me sick. I was in my feelings right there.
Yeah, I was trying to
needed to get out of them. I needed to get out of that.
No, and I think for us to really feel where we need some work. We need to level up. But why not take our kids on that journey? You know what I mean?
Kia said, "You're not B, you're learning," and so are they. Stop that crying. They know I'm a crybaby. I suck at that. In that, I will cry all the time.
Yeah.
I do feel a lot better. But it was a good, like, it's kind of a good cry. Because, like I said, I needed that. Because sometimes you don't. You just know.
Did you know you were judging yourself?
Oh, yeah. But I felt rightfully so.
See, yes.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, well, this is judgmental, but I'm judging myself in the right way because I'm right. That was wrong. So, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yesterday when you were kind of pulling me out, you're like, but And I'm like, but I should be doing this stuff. And you realize you're shitting on yourself. Yes, and I should be shitting on myself because I should be perfect right now.
Deep, honey. I was like, girl, go lay down. Like, I don't know.
No, you were not. You were very in the trenches with me.
I was.
You were feeling it. You were holding space for me.
I was.
Yes.
I was. And because, like I said, I struggle with that same stuff. Like, all of it.
That's what we need to do for our kids. Sorry, I keep touching your leg.
Like, quit rubbing on me, girl.
That's what we need to do for them. We need to hold space for them.
Anissa said, we need tears. They're a part of the process.
Yeah,
let them fly if you need to. Hey, Anissa.
I'm doing the challenge, the key challenge every morning. And I just love, like, so Anissa's one of them on the challenge.
I'm tired of you and them questions. Not literally tired, but you know what I'm saying? Like, oh my God, I just want to wake up one morning and you go, smile, today is a good day, and that's it.
That's what I think I'm gonna do. I think so. If anybody's on the key challenge, let me know what you think, because I do think it's a lot.
Man, some days I wake up and that's the first thing. Like, I wake up and I go, oh my God.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's really good. Like, it's so
great.
good.
They're great questions.
Yes.
And
honey, some days I need a break, child.
Yeah.
Just to be like, just in the thumbs up some days.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah, no, I think some encouraging ones. So that's what I'm thinking. So if you're part of the key challenge, total side note, but if you're part of the key challenge, let me know if you think that might be good. What I'm thinking is one question, like maybe on Sunday, and then the rest of the week are quotes around that topic. And then you can talk about what comes up. Because I'm loving, I don't know who I'm talking to, a lot of them. Now, Anissa's in my phone, so I know it's her.
Right.
But what I was going to say is every day I have this, like, I do a little prayer over each person that I'm sending it to. And, like, so I know it's Anissa, and I'm like, oh, I just love that I get to pray for her every day.
That's cool.
But I think that there are some people that are responding back, and I have no idea who they are. And we're, like, forming these bonds. Yeah. And it's really, really cool. But anyway, yeah, I'm thinking that and then supporting posts around the topic that may bring things up, because you post a quote, and I've had a few people that have pushed back on some of the quotes, like, that felt judgmental.
Really?
Very specifically, there was one that said, a wound can't heal if you keep picking at it. And this was someone who was, very actively working on healing and needed to talk about it. Oh, so it hit her in a different way. And for me, I said, I remember I posted that a few years ago, and what was in my mind, because I really never post passive aggressively. I stop myself if I feel like I'm going to. Usually I tell you, right, I'm about to do this, I'm not going to do it.
Like, I still do it?
Oh no, I don't. That's something
not necessarily. Well, that will definitely be part of the authenticity conversation. Okay, because I think for me, even if it's initially a passive aggressive thought, once I steer it and rethink about it, I feel like it's something else that other people can learn from. So I usually still post it, not to be passive aggressive, but just as, hey, like that day that I bit that lady's head off for telling me my car was running. You know what I mean? Right. Like, so yeah. Yeah. So I forgot where I was going. Oh, so for me, the reason I posted it was because I realized I was talking to anybody and everybody about the way I had been hurt by someone. And I'm like, why am I talking about, like, literally I was in the middle of an orientation. Oh, really?
Yeah. And, like, made some snide comment about my ex-husband. And I was like, this is these people's first day of work. Why am I telling them? Talking. Why am I doing this?
Like, I might want to let this go a little bit. That is freaking hilarious.
So I did. I'm like, I'm going to stop talking about it and see what happens. And I realized the less I talked about it, the easier it was for me to heal. But that's never to take away from people who are in the middle of talking about it and working through it. So that's why, like, I like the idea. I just don't know how to get it across to everybody that's in it, that's what we would be doing. So anyway, sorry.
Anissa said maybe just a motivational message.
Yeah.
Cassandra said, you read that wonderfully, Kat. That manifesto beautifully encompasses how we how to be compassionately and imperfectly human to our young people. I love that.
And I think that's not just to, I mean, that's also,
To all
you know,
people.
you and I have this agreement, you know, where we are, whether it's like very purposeful, I think it's very natural for us, the manifesto. I think we're authentic with each other.
Oh, yeah.
We allow each other, I mean, any
Sometimes
type
we
of...
try. I think sometimes when we find ourselves like filtering, or then we'll go, okay,
I'm
let
not
me
gonna
stop.
filter.
No filter.
Yep.
Kind of
Yeah.
like I did at the beginning of the show. Like,
Yeah.
okay, we're not going to filter here.
Yeah.
Because what I have learned is that when you try to filter your communication, it just doesn't come. Usually I don't end up expressing what I'm really trying to say because I'm trying to cover it up with whatever.
And sometimes it's like not to hurt the person's feelings or not
Right.
to put everything out there.
So
and-
sometimes I just have to focus on my intent, and I'm like, my responsibility is to communicate this in a respectful way, and removing the responsibility from myself about how it's received. Like, as long as I communicate it the way that I'm intending to communicate it, good or bad, because some that also goes with communication, that, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, yeah, there's that. Jennifer said, love the quote on Sunday and theme of the week. Lisa said, yes, it's interpretation, what you are going through at the moment. I agree.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that could be really helpful for people to go, you know, instead of the question, because the question is it's heavy. It's really heavy.
Child, I wake up some mornings and I don't even open that silk text until after I've had my coffee.
Yeah.
Like, I leave it alone. I'm like, cat gonna be deep today. I don't have time for that right now. So I'm going to take my coffee and then I'll open it and figure out, like, yeah.
And it's hard I'm coming up with them. I mean, and a
like,
lot of
that's
times
how
I'm coming up with them right before I send them. And I'm trusting that they're going to come. This morning was a little later than normal. Did you notice that? My 5 o'clock alarm didn't go off. I usually set them at 6, and I used that hour to kind of...
Why didn't it go off?
Because I shut off all my alarms last night at the play because I was afraid that one of them would...
It did not go
Because
off.
I keep touching you. I had think alarms. I had all of my think alarms on.
You.
And so I turned them all off because I was terrified. Remember, I had the one go off during our presentation.
We had a presentation and Kat's alarm was like, nah, and it's like a really annoying noise. How do you wake up to that noise?
No, that was my think alarm. That was me to stop.
Oh.
That wasn't a wake up alarm. That was at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Alarm. I was like, honey,
really
that
annoying.
would annoy the crap out of me.
Yeah, that's for me to stop.
That's what I would
and
be
turn it
thinking.
off.
This alarm is annoying. That would be my thought. This alarm is annoying. It's driving me crazy.
Oh, all right. So, did we cover everything we wanted to cover? We're a little far.
We're pretty over.
Yeah.
I believe so. So next week, as we said, we'll kind of go a little bit deeper in authenticity versus oversharing. Not because we have the answers to it, but because we don't have the answers to it.
Yeah, you know what? That's so true.
Because we would like to discuss it with you guys and see what you think.
Yeah, I'm just thinking some of the people that you've read names for, I know that they've shared some vulnerability, very vulnerable moments and been very open in an effort to help other people. And that's, I think that's something we can talk about.
It is. And just really quick, because we've been talking about... We've been talking about... Sorry, guys, we go over it. Sometimes we cut off the camera and we just keep talking and we're like, we should have left the camera rolling. So, yeah. I think for me, in this year...
Girl, you talk too much. Yeah, you never shut
Oh, God, I do remember that song! I remember that one.
Oh, sorry, I cut you off. And I touched you again. I don't know what's happening to me.
You need...
Call HR.
You just want to touch me. I'm calling it sexual harassment.
Call HR.
So... Like, I've talked a lot about how this year I'm kind of telling my story. I've told my story before in a very kind of clinical way, like in my book.
Yeah.
So what I'm struggling, and it is a struggle, what I'm struggling with now is that the telling of my story requires me to, specifically my parents, requires me to say things about them that I don't necessarily feel anymore, that I don't feel anymore at all.
Right.
But sharing my story is sharing part of their story as well. So I struggle I struggle a little bit with how am I oversharing, because this is their story. But I've been very careful to go, this is by my perception. This was my perception. This is in no way factual because I can't speak for them, but this is how this made me feel. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. anyway.
Yeah, I think that's really good.
To go with that.
I want to challenge us, and then everybody here too, to kind of help us with this.
You challenge us every day. We just got done talking about how your challenge is annoying.
I know. Well, I'm gonna challenge you again anyway. I want us to come up with a new word other than struggle.
Opportunities for growth.
I don't like that one either.
Oh, because everybody is it like so? Is it too like HRE?
No. Because I think there's a word that because I don't know. I'm just not loving struggle, and I think it.
But is that just a factual representation of what we're doing? If it's a struggle, like we can't pretty up everything. If you are struggling with something, the goal is to no longer struggle with it. So ultimately, I would like for it to no longer be a struggle.
This is where we usually shut off the camera, and these are the conversations we have when we're arguing with each other about this stuff. You should hear us when we're creating workshops.
Oh my God, it gets so deep sometimes.
So, yeah, no, I do think, I don't want that word for me. So if you want to keep it for you... but I'm going to work on something different.
Why
because
though?
I don't think, because struggle to me is like, is my battery low?
That's mine.
Oh.
My battery's low.
Okay. So, yeah, I think opportunity for growth is a little too fluffy. Struggle
Alicia said, how about
heavy.
the word challenges? It's challenging for you.
I like that.
Oh, Anissa said adventure. It's an adventure. I like challenges.
She has the way of funning. Anissa has a way of funning up everything.
Oh, who is that texting me, girl?
Oh,
this is a long message. Sorry.
Don't you
this
know
is the type of stuff that y'all never get to see when we get goofy after the camera goes off. So I'm gonna just let it run because.
So we're not. Wait. So they don't get to see the super goofy? I think they've seen.
We get
super
even
goofy.
goofier than what you guys usually see on the show. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So adventure. Lisa said she uses adventure. Cassandra said challenge as well. I like challenge.
I like challenge. This is a challenge for me.
Lisa said, yes, it's hard to share our story involving our parents. However, we have to try to keep in mind with parents, they did the best that they can with what they knew. Yep. And that's what has helped me, like, in my growth process. But I think I think about Oprah. I know there's a lot going on with Oprah, and I got a whole lot of feelings about that. But anyway... but she said, like, she's not releasing a book or a story on her life until her father passes away, because she doesn't want him to have to experience whatever he might experience as a result of the story that she has to tell that involves him.
Right.
And with me, at first I said the same thing. I said, I'm not going to share my story, but I don't think that it's my story to share. Do you know what I'm saying? I believe that.
Well, what happened to you on your end of it is.
No. When I say it's not my story to share, I mean that I experienced these things so that I could give myself to the world and explain to them these things happen to me. So I feel like it's everybody's story because I'm supposed to share it with everybody as an opportunity for growth and understanding and learning. Yeah. So I feel almost obligated to share my story. So I'm like,
that's
not
really
your story. It's not my story.
And what I was thinking with Oprah, there's no guarantee that we're going to outlive our parents.
That too.
So
like you may never get to tell your story.
Right. There was something I was going to say on sharing the story. Jessica Simpson. Oh, geez, it's so bumpy through there. Sorry. Jessica Simpson. She just had a book that she put out, and she was very specifically talking about that she was sexually abused as a kid, and her abuser was also being abused, and when she told her family, they just kind of swept it under the rug and just not swept it under the rug, but they stopped visiting that family, and then they never really talked about it. Mm-hmm. And I never once got the feeling like she was like, shame on them. Right. It was more of, they did what they knew, and now we know better.
Yes, and that's what I think is important.
That's a really long way to say exactly what Lisa just said.
Lisa said, in talking with my mom, who's 87, I took her perspective. However, I also shared mine.
That's good. That's really good.
It is really good. And I think, that's a part of my story I'm not going to share yet. But it's difficult when you don't have that perspective to share. Like, I don't have the perspective of my parents. I can only speculate. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, So I'm just very careful to always be like, this is sheer speculation. This is how this made me feel. So
okay.
I always just talk about my feelings and how, what this factual experience, this happened, this is how it made me feel. So, so I'm a little bit more careful as far as that goes.
This went so long.
It went really long, but we're back at Cats now. So we'll let you guys go. We won't harass you any longer. And we will be back next week where we will talk about authenticity versus oversharing. You want to say anything? All right.
No, that's
Talk
it.
to you guys
All
next
right.
week. Bye.
Bye.